Okay, today we're playing a game on King's Row. We are in the Platinum SR range, and we will be playing Moira the entire way through. And our current team composition is Reinhardt, D.Va, Genji, Tracer, Moira, and Zenyatta. So I got no issue with you picking a flanker on defense, because you definitely play Tracer and Genji on defense. Anybody who tells you you can't is wrong. Oh, but it's my opinion, though. I don't care. Your opinion is wrong, and you should feel bad. You can definitely play the flankers on defense, but when you pick Tracer and Genji, I'm gonna start to be concerned about it, because if the two flankers don't like kill a lot of people very quickly, you start losing ground very quickly, and then when you start losing ground, it's like it's a rich get richer situation where they're probably going to keep gaining ground because you're gonna have trouble slowing them down. So I would rather one of them was playing a more consistent DPS, but what can you do, right? So let's start the game. So we're defending first. As you can see, we're a little bit in the round at the start. We can actually go back a little bit further than this. There we go. So we're a little bit in the round already. It's fine. So they're coming at us. Genji's just dashed into Reinhardt, and that didn't accomplish very much. So Tracer is all the fuck way over there. We're sprinkling our regen on people, making sure, you know, it's ticking on them. Oh, fuck, Reaper's over here suddenly. I'm not sure what we're looking over here for. Probably just thinking about going to get the health kit, actually. And then Reaper came in and finished off Zenyatta, which is very sad. Our Zenyatta actually killed their Zenyatta, and then Reaper killed Zenyatta. So, fight's happening over there just through the damage orb. Yeah, unfortunate because, I mean, we didn't know, but it's a shame we don't have the healing orb to throw over there, because we don't really want to go over there right now because we're really low health, so we're quite likely to die. We don't need to be as close as we are. I know it doesn't feel like it, but your right and left click are both 15 meters as Moira, so you don't necessarily need to be that close. Now we've got the healing orb and we throw it back, but unfortunately we've ended up dying. You just gotta be ready to, I guess, winged by Fire Strike, fair enough. You gotta be ready to push that fade key at a moment's notice. Yes, I am basically just going to tell you to have better reaction time, which isn't necessarily the most helpful advice in the world. You know, you can also aim better, perhaps die less. All very valid advice, but none of it is actually helpful. So we've almost got Coalescence built up. We've lost the first checkpoint. It's okay, it's King's Row. We're not exactly surprised to lose the first checkpoint. It's one of those checkpoints where I'm pretty sure the design intention is for you to lose that checkpoint. Because, well, Blizzard would never design it so that you're meant to lose a checkpoint. Have you seen Numbani's second checkpoint? They absolutely would. I'm pretty sure you're meant to lose the first checkpoint on King's Row, because if you weren't, why would the attacker's spawn be right fucking there, right? Anyway, I still think King's Row is like probably the best balanced map in the entire game. Maybe Hollywood. So, Zenyatta's having a lot of trouble staying alive right now, because the enemy team is rather hostile to Zenyatta's. Tracer has actually changed to McCree, so that might help, if he can play the video game. Big if. So, we start using Coalescence. By the time that we use it, I would have just held it, because, like, the fight's not exactly going well. We've already lost 2 people. D.Va died. Genji's not looking good. Like, by the time that we can use Coalescence here, we've basically already lost the fight. And Coalescence is not an ultimate where if you start losing the fight, it'll just swing it back around, right? Like, it's not strong enough to accomplish that, unfortunately. What are we doing? What is... Just fade, like, towards the spawn. The team is very short range, like... We just end up... We could have backed out. It's a very, very strange decision that we chose to make right there. We could just fade backwards towards our spawn instead. The enemy team aren't very long range, like, we would have probably gotten away with that. Instead, we just drag the guy, you know. I mean, no guarantee or anything, but like, I have a pretty good feeling we could have gotten away with that one, rather than like cycling all the way back round to wave and die. Anyway, so we gotta get up to the fight so you can throw the healing orb over to them. That's fine. Unfortunately, like, D.Va's over there fighting the entire Bolivian army, and that's not working out. Start healing Reinhardt. as soon as he gets stuck. Because he can survive. Like, he can survive being stuck. So if you're healing the Reinhardt, he might live. And I mean, it does a lot of fucking damage, and if the Tracer's also... If you can do follow-up damage to the Reinhardt, you kill him, but, like, he can survive the stick, so just start healing the Reinhardt right there. Just look up like, gee, I wonder what Reaper's plan is, right? Oh, what's he up to? So he gets stunned by McCree pretty fucking fast, but unfortunately McCree also dies. It's alright, we'll remember you, Jesse. So we've almost got Coalescence built up. We are standing very in the open right now, because we're actually not even standing behind Reinhardt's shield, really. Their team is very short range, so it's not likely that you're gonna get punished for that, but like, we chose to take a direction where we're standing very out in the open. So now we're very low health, use the healing orb, that's fine. Was the intention probably just, yeah, build up Coalescence as quickly as possible, probably. Because it's not very good resource management, but if we just want to build our ult as fast as possible, it's fair enough. Unfortunately, Zenyatta ends up using Transcendence at the same time, because Graviton happens, so fair enough, but rather not layer Transcendence and Coalescence if at all possible. Now, the downside to us, this is the thing, the downside to us just like laying into the left click to build up ults as fast as possible is now we don't have it, right? Now we don't have any resource. So now we have to work to try and recover it. If you're low on resources, Moira, just throw the healing orb to heal your team, and then you can, like, even now, like, just throw the healing orb so that you can heal these people who are lower health, and, like, you can go over there and start right-clicking them to charge up faster. Though also, not much is happening right now, so you could just throw the damage orb and go right-click them anyway. Because we really want to recover our resources as quickly as possible right now. Don't even, like, push left-click right now. Right now, like, we're so low on resource that we just need to get all the regen we possibly can. So, like, don't even do the left-click, because, like, that cancels the regen. Granted, we've almost got Coalescence built up, but, like, we need to rebuild our resource as quickly as possible right now. Healing Genji because he's almost dead is fair enough. But, like, when you're low on resource, try to resist, like, pushing left-click unless you really need to, because we gotta get that back up. We do have Coalescence built up, so, you know, there's a buffer in there. But, general thing, if you're low on resource. So we've managed to fend them off. I mean, this is how King's Row is, right? The first two checkpoints are quite hard to defend, and then the third checkpoint is very easy to defend, actually. Unless they start snowballing on you, yes, thank you for your very insightful edge case. If they start snowballing on you, it is very hard to defend. Who would have known? I know how you people are. You say one thing and I can hear people typing in their edge case scenarios. Or, well, Winston actually counters Reaper if Reaper was almost dead and out of bullets. So, Reaper doesn't always counter Winston. Except that he does 90% of the time, doesn't he? So, you know. You might think that I'm being overly spiteful. No. People make some weird fucking arguments just for the sake of making an argument. Fucking literally the other day I was like, Bridget's not the worst against Pharah, and someone had interpreted that as me saying that Bridget counters Pharah, and then wrote me an essay about why that was wrong, and I was like, you've literally just taken, she's not the worst, which she isn't, to the absolute extreme possible of, well, because you said that, you're saying Bridget counters Pharah. No, actually, weirdly enough. And I like to pick fights. I understand the temptation. I very much enjoy fighting, but sometimes it's very ridiculous. Even by my standards. So we fought them off. It was an easy fight, easy money. Throw the orb over, start building some ult charge. Ult charge, look how fast Coalescence charges. Fucking you use it, 30 seconds later, you basically got it again. Started using Fade to try and dodge Reinhardt, I imagine. But somebody was in front of it. Well, that's what we were doing, right? He was kind of coming at us, and we were like, oh, fuck, I don't want that. Yeah, I guess. It ends up being very awkward, but I assume that was the reason. Be careful about going forward again while you have Fade on cooldown. If you've used Fade, whether you needed to or not, like if you've used Fade, you usually want to play pretty defensively while Fade is on cooldown, because you're very easy to kill when Fade is on cooldown. You know, Moira has probably the best movement ability in the entire game, but when it's on cooldown, you are very easy to kill. So, I mean, nah, it's the best. I don't know why I'm like hesitating over this. I'm like, is Blink better? No, Fade's better than Blink, definitely. I would definitely take 3 Fades over 3 Blinks, you know. So, start spinning. It's alright. Zenyatta's got Transcendence. It's like nothing ever happened. I don't know why. I'm like, was it even worth using the Transcendence? Of course it was. Like, now I'm trying to pick arguments for the sake of picking arguments. Like, you know, there was definitely the time to use Transcendence. Now we have segregated ourselves from our team, though, which is not generally very good practice, and we end up, like, having to reconvene with them. I get that we're scared, but like, well, okay, I get that we're scared, and then like we go closer to the enemy team right afterwards, so it's a very odd decision positioning-wise, and then we have to get back over to our team again. By the time we get back over to the team, it's not looking good. So you're not gonna get away from Reaper, right? Like, probably. Here's what you do. Start just trying to fight the boy, like, just keep draining him, because, like, that's not gonna work. Like, just look him in the eye, keep draining him, and do some crouch on crouch strafe action. Just, like, try and survive until you can get Fade off cooldown. Because if you can survive long enough to get Fade, you might get away from him. Turning your back on him and trying to run is not gonna work. You gotta just try and, like, drag out your death to get the Fade cooldown back up again. So we use the healing orb. I mean, I get it, but, like, nobody's hurt right now, and we don't even really throw it at the team either, so it just ends up not doing anything, you know? Like, damage orb's really good, right? Like, damage orb is really good. This is a very contentious opinion that I have, that the damage orb is very good. That's one people like to pick fights about sometimes. The damage orb is so good, you're all wrong. I don't care if it's your opinion. Your opinion is bad, and you should feel bad. Don't think that saying it's your opinion is gonna save yourself from me. I'll fucking argue with you anyway. And your opinion can still be wrong. Right? Just because it's your opinion doesn't mean it's right. In my opinion, 2 + 2 = 5. Okay, your opinion is objectively wrong. It's an extreme example, but your opinion can definitely be wrong. The damage orb is better than the healing orb. Alt charge. Oh, alt charge. Oh. So, unfortunately, 2 of our boys were out of position and they're dead, which is, you know, you've got limited ways to solve that problem. I would consider just using Coalescence right there, because I want to heal myself and let a fight's coming, right? So just to make sure the rest of the team also don't die. We decide to use it anyway. Fair enough. Would I have done it? I would have done it. Because they're going to try and keep coming in off of this momentum. So I would want to, like, while things are relatively neutral, I would try and just use Coalescence to drive them off. But by the time we use it, I mean, we use it just a couple of seconds later. It's fundamentally the same position. Does Zenyatta have Transcendence? He does. Okay, he died. That's sad. Having Transcendence during these previous fights would have been really good, but unfortunately he was too far up and he died. He wasn't even too far up by much. He was just still slightly too far up and died. So right now, things are not exactly going well. Here comes Transcendence. Hooray, he got here in the end. Through the healing orb while Transcendence was still going, but I mean, it's gonna run out, so fair enough. So, fortunately, even though they started the momentum, they actually don't have anything to keep it going with, and we've had just enough ultimates to sort of kill off their momentum, and their ultimates weren't enough to actually just, like, carry it through. So we managed to Yep, just throw it up there. She doesn't even touch it. Total C nice, fine, no problem. So we fend them off in the end. So now we have to attack King's Row, which is probably easier than the defending King's Row on average. This is the thing when you've only got one really good defensive place, right? Like, you've only got to lose a couple team fights and you lose the game. So it's probably easier to attack. I mean, it's easier to attack in general on average. That's not always true. Defending is easier in lower SRs where people don't know how to attack. Probably up to, like, Platinum, right? Like, Bronze to Plat. Maybe Bronze to Gold. Defending is way easier because people have no idea how to attack properly. Once you get high enough, defending becomes significantly harder than attacking. Because the attackers have the initiative, right? They can always pick the fight that's best for them. Like, they can just sit out there really patiently, wait till they have ultimates, or they get a pick, then push in and kill you, right? And the way that spawns are in Overwatch is they are usually much more punishing for the defending team than the attacking team, with the exception being second checkpoints on 2 CPs. So it gets significantly harder to defend the higher you get, because people learn how to attack, and they learn, if we just throw 6 ultimates at that checkpoint, we're getting that checkpoint, and they're getting that checkpoint. That's just how it is. On the flip side, the defenders only have to kill 1 or 2 people, so it can be easier to defend. They also, like, the defenders only need to use a couple of ultimates to kill a push, because once the attacking team's down a person or 2, it's too hard to push in with a numbers disadvantage. But if the attackers throw 6 ultimates at that checkpoint, you are meant to lose that checkpoint, unless you have 6 ultimates. Ultimates, as it turns out, are a very important aspect of Overwatch. Who knew, right? When people try and tell, I hate that so much. This is the thing that tweaks me the most in this game. When you throw 6 ultimates at a checkpoint to capture it, and then somebody on the defending team goes, geez, do you guys use enough ultimates? I'm like, that's how you fucking play the game, right? Like, the whole game revolves around ultimates. That's how you win. You use your ultimates better than they use their ultimates. Or only if you're bad. No, like, Dragon Blade is fucking very strong, right? Like, that's the reason to pick Genji, is because Dragon Blade is really strong. Soldier is really strong, because Tac Visor is really strong. He's good in general, but, like, Tac Visor is very strong, right? Like, Zarya, if she had, like, a worse ult, would not be a very good hero, but she has the best ult in the game, probably, right? So, like, one of the best, undeniably. So, I hate that so much. Guys use enough ultimates. Oh, only if you're bad. No, whole game revolves around ultimates. Weirdly enough, it's like that's where your hero is at its strongest, right? So, weirdly enough, the game kind of revolves around them. It's true of every game where they have ultimates. MOBAs are the same way. There are outliers in that as well. There are some heroes in Champions in League of Legends don't have ultimates, really. But so they are significantly stronger baseline. But because they don't have ultimates, they're really strong early, they're really weak later, because if they don't... The benefit of not having the ultimate is that you're stronger early game, basically. This is getting very into another game, but like, certain champions over there, they have an ult that changes their form, so they basically have 2 sets of abilities. And that's really strong early game, but late game you lack the utility of a really strong ultimate, so... If you don't win early, you lose late, you know. That's one thing that, I mean, this is the thing with stats, right? That's not really a concept that exists in Overwatch. You have a hero who's strong early game and weak late game. Like, that doesn't really exist in Overwatch, does it? Anyway, I don't know what I'm talking about. It's fucking like 5 a.m. Don't judge me. I'm allowed to be judging, okay? That's why we're here, and also, I'm from England, so we're a very judgmental race of people. Even though we're, like, objectively the worst, we're very judgmental. Even if fucking everything we invent, we're the worst at it. Anyway, so we're fighting right now. What the fuck am I talking about? Alright, so, let's go back. What was happening? shambles, complete shambles. So, we started using Coalescence. That's fair enough. We're starting to win the fight, so just try and use Coalescence to keep the momentum going forward. Unfortunately, McCree was off doing his own thing, and Genji died to Junkrat's passive. So, kind of hinders the march of progress a little bit. So now Soldier's using Tac Visor. We've lost the fight at that point. When you lose both your DPS, it's really hard, because then your team... Funnily enough, when you lose both your DPS, you have very little damage anymore, which makes it very hard to win the fight. It's true of, like, all categories, right? It doesn't matter which category of hero... Like, if you lose both your tanks, both your healers, or both your DPS, you probably lose the fight because you're missing out on a very pivotal part of your team at that point, right? You either have no damage, you have no healing, or you have no presence. So, either way, when you lose two of something, you're probably going to lose the fight. Now, unfortunately, D.Va and Winston have delayed their deaths as long as possible, so now peak time is being wasted while we wait for them to get back. And then Junkrat used the tire, and now they're staggered as well. And this is how it starts. That's the thing that's really strong about the tire, right? It's just like they got staggered because of the tire, and there's not much they can do about that other than shoot the tire, which is not helpful advice, right? So... The tire is really strong, wins team fights, and if the team fight's not happening, fuck it, just throw it out there anyway. You're gonna stagger somebody, and staggering is really bad in Overwatch, because time is the only finite resource in the game, right? We got 3 resources. We got health, we got ult charge, we got time. Time's the only finite resource, so if you can waste any of the enemy team, if you can waste like 10 seconds from the enemy team, that's a big deal. 10 seconds can really easily be the difference between winning and losing. Alright, so, Roadhog's doing that. He's actually purple. I would have actually used Coalescence right here. Because I don't want those boys to die right next to us, obviously. But we can also use it to make sure to try and kill Roadhog, because he was purple. So it's actually very easy to finish him off at that point with Coalescence. Now, there's like no point to use Coalescence anymore, really. Well, alright, there's still a point, but like there's less point to use it. Because by the time we use Coalescence, half their team is actually already dead. So we will probably win the fight without Coalescence at that point. So, you know, benefit of hindsight, we didn't need to use it at all. But I would have used it sooner than that. Like, as soon as I see that Roadhog's using the Rudy Tooty Whiz Bang Shooty and he's purple, I'm like, fuck it, I'm using it. I'm going to make sure these two don't die, I'm going to kill him, and then we're just going to go in with Coalescence after that. And if I don't use it there, I don't use it at all. Cause maybe when the team gets caught in the Graviton, probably not, because once half the enemy team is dead... They lost, right? They lost, unless the hand of Daddy Jeff comes down and blesses them. Like, they lost that fight. So, we've managed to keep the momentum going a fair distance into this checkpoint, but now, Soldier's using Tac Visor. We don't have anything that's really good at blocking Tac... Well, we don't have anything that's good at blocking Tac Visor. We've got Defense Matrix. That's a lie. We have something that's good at blocking Tac Visor, but she didn't block it, so... we can get out of this one, like, probably. Use the healing orb. No, you madman. Use the healing orb. You greediest man on the planet right there. Fucking, like, still basically out of position, 63 hit points, and he goes, damage orb. Fuck, greedy bitch. Didn't get punished, so got more value, I guess, but, oh, you greedy bastard. Sorry, it's all about having the exact right amount of greed for the game. That's what it's about. So we've got Coalescence. Soldier's almost got Tac Visor, so I want to, like, wait just a little bit longer before we use it. Yeah. The thing with Graviton is that you basically have to use it the second Graviton starts happening. Because Coalescence isn't as good at denying Graviton as Transcendence is, so if you're going to use it to block Graviton, you've got to, like, commit to it basically immediately. Because otherwise, chances are they probably still die in it anyway. And Coalescence is definitely... It's probably the worst ultimate at trying to deny Transcendence. Or trying to deny Graviton, rather. It's definitely the worst ultimate trying to deny Transcendence. Because... Even Sound Barrier is a better defensive ultimate than Coalescence is. So now, our Zarya is using her, if only we had our ult now. It's alright, he's going in with Nano Blade and Tac Visor. We're meant to win this fight. This is how it is. They used a lot of their ultimates during the last fight. We went in with Graviton, Nano Blade, and Tac Visor. We're meant to win the fight. Punch him! Yeah. Scratch his eyes out. And you're meant to win. They're not meant to win that team fight. It's just not, especially since they used ultimates prior to that, right? So we're being really aggressive right now, but our other healer is Anna, so we can get away with it more. Coalescence, yeah, just slap that button. Probably fade back first to get into a better position, because if you're further back, it's easier to hit all of both teams with Coalescence, which is the goal, to hit as many people on both teams as possible. But, we had Graviton, Nano Blade, and Tac Visor. We're meant to win at that point, and we're right there. That's how it is. You just take that L. There's not much you can do about it, especially if you use some ultimates prior to that. Because shit, that's scary. You got two of the best ults. You got definitely the three best ults, right? The three most consistently good ults in the game. Because I think Emp is actually the best ult in the game, but that's slightly conditional. The three, like, most unconditionally best ults in the game. And then you put Nano Boost on Genji as well, which is the best combo. You're meant to lose. It's how it is. You're just meant to lose. Something exceptional has to happen for you to win that fight at that point. Because even Transcendence is not enough to stop Nano Blade, because if you cut and dash quickly enough, that actually kills you through Transcendence. And then you got other stuff happening as well. You just take that L. You just take that L, unfortunately. This has been a shambles of a video, and I don't really remember anything particularly egregious standing out. It's 5 a.m. Don't judge me. That's going to be my excuse. If you need more, please, I have them. Fucking, my monitor's turned off, foot itches, keyboard broken, clearly. Cat's asleep. Water's frozen, there's a blizzard outside. I got so many excuses. If you need more, come back. I got them. So thank you very much for watching. If you did, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer. If you haven't already, you can join our Discord and ask questions more directly and have a conversation about them. And I hope you found the video helpful.